Today, I want to talk about innovation not just as a one-time event, but as a systematic discipline that drives business growth. Drawing on Peter Drucker's insights on entrepreneurs, we'll explore how innovation can be intentionally managed and cultivated to create lasting success. Emphasis: understanding innovation as a deliberate process is key to unlocking new opportunities and staying ahead in a competitive market. One of the biggest misconceptions in business is that entrepreneurs are simply born, not made. Peter Drucker challenged this idea with a powerful statement: emphasis, entrepreneurship is a practical discipline that anyone can learn and apply, as long as they commit to it seriously. Break: for years, entrepreneurs have been seen as lone heroes, blessed with some special intuition and a tolerance for chaos. This romanticized image, while inspiring, actually excludes many capable people who don't fit that mold. Drucker argues that real success comes not from innate talent, but from a reliable and repeatable method. Companies that treat innovation as just a lucky strike miss out on consistent growth. On the other hand, organizations that adopt a systematic approach, carefully seeking opportunities, observing closely, and acting decisively, create lasting success. It's a process, not chance, that drives innovation forward. Emotions take shape in innovation when we understand the underlying sources that drive new opportunities. Drucker identified 7 systematic sources of innovation opportunities, and emphasis. Knowing these allows us to anticipate market changes rather than simply reacting after the fact. These sources aren't just theoretical, they're embedded in the everyday realities of every industry, ready to be discovered by those who know where to look. Break: this perspective shifts innovation from being random or accidental to something much more strategic and intentional. Emphasis: when a competitor fails in the market, most people either celebrate or simply move on, but the wise entrepreneur sees it differently. Break: they ask important questions. Why did this failure happen? Which assumption was incorrect? What customer need was left unfulfilled? Each failure is like a free experiment paid for by someone else, offering valuable lessons if you know how to interpret them. Long break: similarly, unexpected success, like when a product takes off in an unplanned market or with unanticipated customers, is often dismissed as a fluke. But as Drucker points out, this is actually a golden opportunity to discover insights that traditional analysis might miss. To capitalize on these, we must rigorously analyze failures, seriously examine unexpected successes, and transform these anomalies into solid business hypotheses. Break: ultimately, the greatest source of innovation comes from the unexpected, the surprises that challenge our assumptions. While many overlook these signals, embracing them can lead to extraordinary opportunities and groundbreaking innovation. Here, we're looking at the idea of inconsistency as a powerful driver of innovation. Emphasis: inconsistency refers to the gap between what should happen based on established logic and what actually occurs in the market. This gap often goes unnoticed by those inside the system, but it can be a goldmine for entrepreneurs or outsiders who spot the opportunity. First, we have economic inconsistency. Imagine a sector where demand and activity are growing, but margins are shrinking. This signals a structural flaw: something is not working efficiently. Someone who can propose a new business model to fix this gap can redefine the market and gain a competitive edge. Break: next is the discrepancy between perception and reality. Industries often assume customers want one thing, when in fact, they value something else entirely. Identifying this disconnect early gives a savvy innovator the chance to lead before the market catches up. Finally, inconsistencies in the process are usually the easiest to address. These are weak links or bottlenecks that everyone accepts as normal. Improving these processes doesn't require changing customer habits but simply streamlining workflow, which can result in significant gains. Break: recognizing and acting on these inconsistencies can truly set a business apart. One of Drucker's most practical contributions is grouping the 7 sources of innovation into 2 main categories, which really simplifies the systematic search for new opportunities. This classification isn't just theoretical, it directly affects which areas need special attention, how often each source should be reviewed, and which teams should be responsible for exploring them. First, we have the internal sources, which tend to be more predictable. These come from within the company or its immediate industry and offer clearer insights, with less uncertainty and greater control. They're the natural starting point when any organization begins innovating. Examples include the unexpected, like surprising successes or failures, inconsistencies between reality and assumptions, process needs such as bottlenecks, and structural changes affecting the industry or market. On the other hand, external factors have a greater impact but are more challenging to anticipate. These come from the broader social, demographic, and scientific context and, if detected early, can create significant and lasting competitive advantages. They require a broader vision and a longer time horizon. Key examples are demographic shifts, changes in perception about meanings and values, and new scientific or technological knowledge. The emphasis, key takeaway here is not to choose between internal or external sources but to institutionalize the systematic review of both within the organization's regular management cycle. This balanced approach ensures a comprehensive look at all potential opportunities for innovation. Innovating always comes with risks, but Drucker reminds us that there's a crucial difference between taking a calculated risk and betting without thinking. A systematic entrepreneur doesn't avoid risk, that would lead to paralysis, but manages it in a deliberate, circumscribed, and reversible way. Emphasis, before increasing the stakes, they gather information through pilot tests and validations in small niche markets, reducing uncertainty with each step. This approach isn't about being cautious, it's about using your capital wisely. Drucker also advises setting a maximum acceptable loss upfront, which acts as a protective shield, allowing teams to move forward with determination without endangering the core business. Additionally, spreading innovation efforts across a portfolio of initiatives, at different stages from exploration to scaling, helps prevent a single failure from derailing everything. Companies that manage risk thoughtfully don't innovate less, they actually innovate more, because their teams feel free to experiment without fear of catastrophic failure. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is trying to conquer the entire market right from the start. Emphasis, instead, Drucker advises us to focus on a specific niche, prioritizing the speed at which we gain adoption rather than the sheer volume of customers. A well-chosen niche has users facing an urgent and specific problem, they're connected and communicate easily, and they value the solution more than just the price. Once you become the obvious solution within that niche, expanding to adjacent segments becomes much easier because you have credibility, proven success stories, and a validated model. Remember, define your niche based on an urgent problem, not just demographics. Measure your success by how deeply you've penetrated that niche, not just how broadly you've reached. Using the niche as a learning laboratory sets you up for faster, smarter growth. Trying to be relevant to everyone dilutes resources and weakens your message. So, be the first, be the best, or be the only one by picking a niche narrow enough to truly own. This approach isn't limiting ambition, it's the smartest way to go further, faster. Emphasis, integrating the entrepreneurial spirit within teams is crucial for sustainable innovation. Relying on a single visionary leader or founder makes innovation fragile and puts the whole company at risk. If that person leaves or loses focus, the organization's creative capacity can vanish, and team members might stop seeking out opportunities on their own. This is especially common in startups that grow quickly, where the founder still tries to lead as if the team is small, creating a bottleneck that slows growth. To counter this, Drucker suggests making innovation a clear responsibility within every role. This means setting innovation goals for each team, allocating time for experimentation, providing easy ways for team members to propose ideas, and accepting honest failures as part of learning. All these steps help spread the entrepreneurial mindset across the entire organization. To stay ahead in today's fast-paced market, it's crucial to, emphasis, integrate the entrepreneurial spirit within your teams. Organizations that fail to continuously renew this spirit risk falling behind more agile competitors, even if they have greater resources. This kind of obsolescence isn't inevitable, it happens when there's a lack of systematic innovation. Secondly, building a corporate culture that rewards initiative, curiosity, and experimentation is a real competitive advantage. When innovation is part of your team's DNA, it not only attracts but also retains the best talent, creating a unique edge that competitors can't quickly copy. Finally, fostering innovation requires more than goodwill. You need systems in place, clear processes, measurable indicators, and regular rituals to keep that culture alive, especially during tough operational times. Without these structures, innovation will fade the moment the next crisis hits. Drucker's final and most revolutionary insight is that, innovation should be a natural outcome of a solid management system, not just a rare burst of creativity. Companies that truly embrace this idea don't wait for luck or the next big idea, they create innovation systematically, with consistent effort quarter after quarter. To move from occasional inspiration to a reliable innovation engine, you need key components: designated leaders, clear processes, measurable indicators, and regular reviews. Without these, innovation risks staying a lofty goal instead of becoming day-to-day business. That's why appointing someone to manage your innovation portfolio, setting up regular review cycles, tracking initiatives through exploration, validation, and scaling phases, and learning openly from failures are all critical steps. Drucker's legacy is deeply practical. He wrote not as a distant academic, but as a trusted advisor to major organizations. Any company, big or small, can systematize innovation by treating entrepreneurship with the same rigor as finances or operations. Sustainable growth comes not just from creativity, but from making opportunities seeking a shared habit, managing risk wisely, focusing on strengths, and embedding entrepreneurship across the organization. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. I appreciate the opportunity to share these insights with you. Your engagement means a lot as we explore these important topics together.